Hi, I'm Hazel, and today I want to talk about the best talent choices for raiding and Mythic Plus Dungeons as a Shadow Priest in Legion. Some of these are set and forget, while others should be swapped out depending on the content. For the first row, we've got Twist of Fate, Fortress of the Mind, and Shadow Word Void. You should always take Twist of Fate. It doesn't take any thought or need any babysitting. It has high uptime in dungeons and on ad fights. On top of that, it synergizes beautifully with your end of fight Surrender to Madness burst phase. If you haven't been using Twist of Fate, switching to it should help out your damage quite a bit. On the second row, we have Mania, Body and Soul, and Masochism. Body and Soul is your talent choice here for a couple of reasons. The movement speed is available as an on-demand burst, which helps scoot you out of mechanics and raids. The faster you're done moving, the quicker you can get back to standing still and pumping out purple stuff. On top of that, every time you sprint you'll get your Absorb Shield bubble, which is surprisingly good for your survivability. In the third row, we have Mind Bomb, Psychic Voice, and Dominate Mind. Mind Bomb is your go-to here. Stunning mobs is vastly preferable to fearing them in PvE, so they won't run off finding friends. Having Mind Bomb's AoE stun twice a minute is phenomenal for managing trash pulls, especially in Mythic Plus Dungeons. It can easily make the difference between wiping or recovering. On the fourth row, we have Void Lord, Reaper of Souls, and Void Ray. These talents are all pretty close, but Reaper of Souls comes out on top. If you're running Surrender to Madness, and you usually should be, Reaper of Souls is mandatory. The insanity gain from a double Shadow Word death can make the difference between dying early or lasting until your next Void Torrent. If you're running an easy dungeon with a tank that you know is going to chain pull huge packs, you might swap it out for Void Ray. Void Ray is nice for rinsing down big groups of mobs with Mindseer, but it falls behind on boss fights. Void Lord comes close to Reaper of Souls if you're running Legacy of the Void, but it's not really close enough to make it worth swapping out. I keep Reaper of Souls in for everything. On row 5, we have Sandlane, Auspicious Spirits, and Shadowy Insight. Most of the time you're going to want Auspicious Spirits, and keep it in all the time for multi-target fights. However, if you have less than 20% crit, or you have the Mengaza's Madness Legendary Belt, then you can swap in Shadowy Insight for Nithendra, Ursoc, and Elareth Renfril. Otherwise, stick to your spooky ghosts. In row 6, we have Power Infusion, Shadow Crash, and Mindbender. Power Infusion is the strongest choice for damage, and it's mandatory when running Surrender to Madness. However, it can be tricky to use properly, so if you're new to WoW, Raiding, or Shadow Priest, Mindbender is an easy-to-use talent that also does good damage. Shadow Crash does lots of damage in Cleave, and I like to take it for running easy dungeons. In row 7, we have Legacy of the Void, Mind Spike, and Surrender to Madness. Surrender to Madness is the crowning jewel of our talents, and you should absolutely take it for raiding and even high-tier Mythic Plus Dungeons. Surrender to Madness gives you a crazy, high adrenaline burst phase at the end of boss fights. To help you fight your depleting insanity and stay alive, you absolutely must run Power Infusion and Reaper of Souls with Surrender. It can be intimidating to start using Surrender, but it's so much more damage that I promise you it's worth it. I find myself usually popping it around 35%-ish of the boss's health, depending on the mechanics of the fight and how much time is left on my time to die weak aura. As you get more and more practice using Surrender, you'll nail down the best spot to pop it for you and your raid group. If you're doing more casual content and aren't interested in dying for greatness, then you can safely take Legacy of the Void. It'll let you pop into Void form more quickly and more often, which is nice for world quests and casual dungeons. So, all this boils down to 3 builds that I swap between. This is my Surrender to Madness build, which I take for raiding and Mythic Plus Dungeons above level 3. This is the big damage. It sounds counterintuitive to use a talent that kills you in Mythic Plus, but the time your damage will save you is worth having your healer res you after each boss. This next build is my casual AoE build that I use for clearing my daily heroic dungeon, or running regular mythics with my guild. Shadow Crash and Void Ray rinse down trash as fast as you can, although the Fire Mages and BM Hunters of the world will still stomp all over you. Finally, this third build is what I swap to for world quests. You're moving in and out of short Void farms with Legacy of the Void, and Void Lord helps you even up your damage as you do that. Mindbender comes up all the time and does nice damage on single targets. For running around killing bears, this gets the job done. And those are my talent choices for Shadow Priest PvE and Legion. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!